I'll let you change all my colors for you.
Hello viewer, how are you? Let us agree on something. Sometimes when people live our lives, it feels like everything we believed in has been shattered. And probably that is how Alison felt when she was divorced by her ex-husband, J.P. Miller. On the other hand, when someone enters into our lives, we get this feeling like our world has been complete and they are the ideal person. Little do we know that having them as part of our life is the beginning of our doom. Could Micah Miller have guessed she'd perish in the hands of John Paul Miller? Mica Miller's love story with J.P. Miller started years later after she and her family started attending the Solid Rock Church in South Carolina for Sunday services. John Paul Miller was a youth pastor and had been serving there until the incident occurred. Unfortunately, on 27th of April 2024, Micah Miller was found dead at Lumber River with a gunshot wound right in her head. Micah Miller's life was short-lived. She was only 30 years when she died. Before marrying J.P. Miller, Micah Miller had been married to her ex-husband by the name of Jeremy Diaz. And funny enough, J.P. Miller is the one who had officiated the marriage between Micah and her ex-husband, Jeremy Diaz. At that same time, J.P. Miller was married to his ex-wife by the name of Alison. They had 4 children, but however, they were also living with another child that J.P. Miller had in a previous relationship before meeting Alison. Micah Miller and John Paul got into an affair while still married to their ex-spouses. John Paul's ex-wife had caught Micah Miller and her husband red-handed, and that is when she divorced John Paul. At that same time, Micah Miller also divorced her husband, and the two, that is John Paul and Micah Miller, made their affair public. They later got married back in 2017. Could love be this blind? Could love push us towards any direction in life? Micah was only 23 when she married John Paul Miller and became the stepmother to John Paul's 5 children. Why would such a young and able woman choose to be with such a man who already seems to have a quite complicated life already? On 27th April 2024, Johnny Jacobs went fishing in Lumber River. He was among the few witnesses who say they heard the incident as Micah Miller took away her life.
I went in there with my little boat, and maybe 5 minutes after getting into the slough, I heard a cry, a faint cry. Heard it for maybe 2 or 3 minutes, and the crying stopped.
After a short moment, everything was silenced by a loud gunshot. He only wished that the worst had not happened.
Oh my God, don't tell me, because the crying had stopped. I said, don't tell me something's happened, don't tell me something. I was getting ready to get out of there. Another 3 people came into the lake on a boat, and I plainly asked them, I said, did y'all hear that gunshot? They said yes.
Johnny Jacob headed towards the direction where the gunshot came from, and when he got there, he couldn't see the woman who was crying. But finally, on the banks of the river, there was a bag.
Her license, her bank card. She had her keys in the bag. She had a little small Bible, all of her credit cards, her bank cards, and a few receipts of some things.
Shortly before Micah Miller had taken away her life, she had made a strange 911 call to the police.
Harrison County 911, what's the address of your emergency?
Hi, are you able to trace the location of my phone?
Let me see. You don't know where you're at?
At National Park. I have my location on, I think, on my phone. Find my phone is on.
I don't think you are in Robeson County. Are you at the Lumber River State Park? And
Yeah, that's where I am.
tell me what's happened.
I just want my family to know where to find me.
Micah Miller had been spotted through a ring camera at the house where she was staying, leaving at around 10:13 a.m. in the morning and later returning at 11 a.m. By this time, the emergency team is already in action for the search of Micah Miller, but at around 4:30 after the gunshot, a kayaker confirmed that there was a woman's body in the river. Unfortunately, it was Mica Miller. She had died of a gunshot to the head, which was confirmed to be self-inflicted. However, this was a conclusion that Micah Miller's friends and family did not agree with. It was all senseless. Hours earlier, before the incident, Micah Miller had gone to Dick's pawn shop in Myrtle Beach and purchased a gun. After Micah's car was located at the parking area, the detectives searched in it. There was a black 6-sauer gun case in the passenger seat. Also, there was a box of ammunition in the vehicle. Later, still in the search and investigation process, they recovered a .4 9mm firearm from the water. The serial number matched the case. Additionally, there was a receipt for the purchase of the weapon, and the buyer was listed as Micah Miller. Micah's marriage had long been sinking. She had been trying to end the marriage, but it seems like she was going through a lot of back and forths. In January 2023, Micah had moved away from her marital home, heading to Kansas where she was planning to go start a new life.
The news, when I heard it, I thought it was just some kind of terrible misunderstanding, because she was headed in a positive direction and she was making plans and had a new purpose that she was pursuing. She was loving her job, everything.
In Kansas, life had just started for her, making new friends and connections. But months later, she left Kansas abruptly, informing her friends and family that she was going back to North Carolina to be with her husband, John Paul Miller. The marriage did not get better. In fact, it continued to become sour.
An abusive relationship, whether that's sexual, whether that's somebody forcing you to take illegal drugs, or alcohol abuse, or physical abuse, psychological abuse, making you think that this is all your fault, or you're a bad mom, or you're a bad wife, or you're a bad husband, or you're not giving it your all when you know you are.
Micah had posted a few posts indicating that no doubt she was going through a hard marriage that involved abuse and manipulation.
Just want to tell you what a lot of people have told me lately and reminded me, because I think I forgot. I knew, but I pushed it in the back of my head just because of my situation. But you are the bride of Christ. Before anybody else's bride. God hates divorce, but why? According to everybody I've asked and the scriptures that I've found, it's because it hurts people. But does abuse hurt people? How do you think God feels about that? That I'm God's bride first. And even an earthly spouse, who's a good spouse, when they know that their bride is being hurt, just imagine what an earthly spouse does. What do you think your heavenly spouse does when you're the bride of Christ and he sees his bride going through abuse and hurt? What do you think he thinks about that?
By this time, she had assured her friend that it was time she was to flee herself from J.P. Miller, unfortunately only for her to end up dead on 27th of April 2024.
3 different numbers in the last 3 months trying to make sure that he did not get her phone number and could not get in contact with her. She messaged me saying, thank you for your gentle warnings over the years about JP or my relationship with JP. I know that you knew I wasn't ready to get out yet. I've replayed our combos over and over in our head throughout the years and wished there was a way I could get out. And now I have, with a big smile.
As JP announced the death of his late wife, Mica Miller, he had stated that Micah was mentally unwell. He kept insisting that his wife was bipolar and that she had been diagnosed shortly after they got married. However, Micah always felt insecure because he had been following her around, going to an extent of having GPS trackers installed on her vehicles. There were incidences where JP Miller had forcibly taken Micah's vehicle keys, stating that Micah was a bad and heavy money spender and he feared that she could sell the car. He also wanted to bring out a picture of Micah Miller as a psychopath. However, he was the psychopath and had been exposed through a post on Facebook showing him go through a drug-induced psychosis. Such information had been hidden until the public started exposing him, demanding for justice for Micah Miller.
I think Mike is coming. I had him try to get in touch with him again to make sure. Is that okay? Huh? He was letting his hands on him? There's no ants on you, though. It's just, maybe that's how you feel, but there's none on you. There's none on the grass. What kind of medicine did they have you on? Let me know if I can do anything. Okay, I think he's. Here's some water, JP. You want some water? Okay, you want to try to sit up? You want to try to sit up, or you want to put it to your mouth, or what? I'll be out in a few minutes if you need it. Okay.
The fact that JP Miller is the one that officially announced the death of his wife at the church left so many wondering if he really was going through any sort of grief. Sad enough, he always insisted that all the difficult encounters and incidences they went through with Micah, it's because she was mentally ill. He had concluded that Micah Miller is the one that took away her life by shooting herself just because she was mentally sick. Medical teams or even the authorities had not passed such facts. It's quite clear that his statements never could end the speculations among the people.
Altar call today. Instead, I'm going to have you stand up and I'm going to make an announcement. And after the announcement, I'm going to ask that you leave church quietly and don't talk about the announcement here in the building, please, if you can. So y'all can stand to your feet. Before I make the announcement, I also want to say that my request to you is that you will continue to come to church and serve and give for the next little bit, because I don't want to have. I'm taking a little bit of a break, and I don't want to have to worry about the church. My break may be a few days, a few weeks, I don't know. I got a call late last night. My wife has passed away. And, it was self-induced, and it was up in North Carolina. And we're going to have a funeral for her next Sunday here at 3 p.m. And so it's all I can. I'm just kind of going on adrenaline right now. So y'all pray for me and my kids and everybody. And she wasn't. Y'all knew that she wasn't well mentally, and that she needed her medicine that was hard to get to her. And so I'm sure there'll be more details to come. But just keep our family in your prayers. And I'm going to let Pastor Randall, my bishop, he can pray. I'll give him a microphone. He'll pray out. And if you have anything you want to share as well, I appreciate it.
John Paul Miller also faced accusations within the church. He had been squandering the church money. He had transferred $2,000 to his personal account from the Dare to Care mission in Kenya. That was around mid-March 2024. He had been reported to the police by one of the church members. However, Micah's name had been somehow implicated in this scheme, plus a few other church members. But having her name implicated into the scheme was another narcissistic way to control Mica Miller. It is obviously clear that Mica Miller had been trying to get herself out of the loop. 2 days before her death, she had filed for a divorce, and J.P. Miller had been served with the letter. Her friends had confirmed that for long, Mica Miller had been wanting to leave J.P. Miller, but somehow she always got sucked back in.
3 different numbers in the last 3 months trying to make sure that he did not get her phone number and could not get in contact with her. She messaged me saying, thank you for your gentle warnings over the years about JP or my relationship with JP. I know that you knew I wasn't ready to get out yet. I've replayed our combos over and over in our head throughout the years and wished there was a way I could get out. And now I have, with a big smile.
Despite the 911 call that Mica Miller had placed, the social media community completely dismissed claims that Mica Miller had chose such a dark fate for herself. They insisted that, yes, if Mica Miller is the one that had made that call, she had been forcibly coerced to make the call. They claimed that the voice could have been AI generated, only to be used to make it appear that Mica Miller chose such a fate.
I believe that it was all staged. I believe that the whole thing was premeditated. I believe that the narrative was established by Junior all the way through. Before there was a release, like the day we were notified, he was already saying, she did it. Why would you do that if you don't have all the information yet? Why would you not be grieving and just, he has not shown any remorse, no grief. He shows nervousness. He shows guilt. He shows, that he is hiding something.
Can you hear the fisherman's voice in Micah's 911 call? Y'all, I just got sent this video. His voice is pretty distinctive. So take a listen to this. Let me know what you think in the comments. Make sure you leave a like, follow for more true crime, but check this out.
Make sure I got the exact location where you're at, okay? Just 1 minute.
I just grabbed it, didn't ever look at it or nothing. I got out and I looked around because there was a clearing on the left and the right, and I looked around because I felt like something was wrong, but I never seen nothing. I took the stuff, put it in my boat, went back to the landing.
Let me know.
In a video that Micah recorded herself just a couple of days before she was found dead, she insinuates that her husband was feeding her illegal drugs. Take a look at the video.
I've had a lot of women that have reached out to me about situations of, and I just want to tell you what a lot of people have told me, whether that's somebody forcing you to take illegal drugs, or alcohol, or physical abuse, psychological abuse, making you think that this is all your fault, or you're a bad mom, or you're a bad wife, or you're a bad husband. God hates divorce, but why? According to everybody I've asked and the scriptures that I've found, it's because it hurts people. But does it hurt people? How do you think God feels about that?
So was she maybe hyper paranoid because of what was in her system? Was there any truth to this? It'll be interesting to see what her tox report says, but you tell me what you think.
The night before Michael was killed, J.P. Miller had been at an event at Charleston, south of Lumber River, North Carolina. Eyewitnesses, however, confirmed that J.P. Miller had been at the event all weekend. So, this leaves the question of whether J.P. Miller could have been with Micah when she died, or simply whether he really was the one who killed Micah. From the story of Micah Miller, it is obvious that J.P. Miller was more of a criminal than a man of God. He had had a bad record with the law, being accused of church fraud, sexual abuse, use of drugs, which he might have forced Micah Miller to take alongside him. Recently, there was speculation that he was having an affair with a woman called Susie, a church member who happens to be a widow. On top of that, it's more likely he was also involved with a few more other women. However, he and Susie denied the allegations. A big question still lays on board. Why was Micah Miller cremated so quickly even before a second independent autopsy could be performed? Not even a toxicology was conducted before the cremation. Why did John Paul push for a cremation immediately? Was he trying to cover up some steps? Was he trying to interfere with investigation and evidence finding? There has been an outcry for a further investigation towards Micah Miller's death.
It was all staged. I believe that the whole thing was premeditated. I believe that the narrative was established by Junior all the way through. Before there was a release, like the day we were notified, he was already saying, she did it. Why would you do that if you don't have all the information yet? Why would you not be grieving and just, he has not shown any remorse, no grief. He shows nervousness. He shows guilt. He shows, that he is hiding something.
But unfortunately, the investigations toward this case has officially been closed. Will justice ever be served? If for sure Micah Miller was murdered by J.P. Miller.
Give me life, take me for what I am, 'cause I'll let you change all my colors for you.
Today, as we speak, the pastor has been demoted from his position at the church, but technically, he's still employed there. He is still getting his salary. Micah Miller's story is a stark reminder of the importance of thorough investigation and the profound impact of losing a loved one under mysterious circumstances. J.P. Miller has been cleared of the allegations by the authority, but her family and friends continue to seek answers, emphasizing that there was no way Micah chose her own fate. She was murdered, and John Paul had it all staged. Her life ended abruptly. She was loving. She loved singing too.
Great miracles over your life. In Jesus' name. In Jesus' name.
May she rest in eternal peace. For Murder Chronicles, I am Sarah. And thank you so much for staying tuned in. And please do not forget to subscribe. Until next time, stay safe and I'll see you soon.